Why do good people suffer? Why do bad things happen when you've done nothing wrong? These are questions humanity has asked for thousands of years, and the Book of Job gives us profound answers. Today, we'll uncover timeless life lessons from Job's story, cross-referencing other parts of the Bible and applying them to our daily lives. Lesson 1. Suffering is not always a result of sin. In Job 1 verse 1, Job is described as blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. Yet Job lost his wealth, children, and health. Cross-reference, John 9 verses 2-3. When the disciples asked about the man born blind, Jesus replied, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." Life application. Many times in life, we misjudge suffering as punishment. For example, when someone loses their job or battles illness, others may assume it's their fault. But Job teaches us that suffering can come even to the righteous, sometimes as a test, sometimes as part of a larger divine plan. Lesson 2. Friends may fail, but God remains faithful. Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, accused him of hidden sin, Job 4-11. Instead of comforting him, they deepened his pain. Cross-reference, Proverbs 17 verse 17, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." Cross-reference, 2 Timothy 4 verses 16-17, Paul says, "At my first defense, no one came to my support, but everyone deserted me. But the Lord stood at my side and gave me strength." Life application. In real life, people may judge us unfairly when we go through hardships. Perhaps you've faced criticism instead of comfort when struggling financially or battling depression. But Job shows us, even if people fail us, God's presence never leaves us. Lesson 3. Honest lament is part of faith. Job didn't suffer in silence. He cried out, cursed the day of his birth, Job 3 verse 1, and asked God hard questions. Cross-reference, Psalms of Lament, e.g., Psalm 13 verse 1, "How long, Lord? Will you forget me forever?" Show that expressing pain honestly is still an act of faith. Cross-reference, Jesus on the cross, Matthew 27 verse 46, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Life application. Today, many people feel guilty for questioning God during tough times. But Job teaches us that crying out to God is not rebellion, it's part of a real relationship. Just as we open up to loved ones in pain, God invites us to pour out our hearts to Him. Lesson 4. God's wisdom surpasses human understanding, 17 to 2200 hours. In Job 38-41, God answers not with direct explanations, but with questions that reveal His greatness. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Job 38 verse 4. Cross-reference, Isaiah 55 verses 8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Cross-reference, Romans 11 verse 33. Oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God. Life application. In real life, we may never understand why tragedies happen, like losing a loved one suddenly or enduring long seasons of hardship. But Job teaches us humility. God sees the bigger picture that we cannot. Trusting Him, even without answers, is the foundation of faith. Lesson 5. Restoration and hope are possible. At the end, Job's fortunes were restored, double what he had before. Job 42 verses 10-12. His story didn't end in despair. Cross-reference, James 5 verse 11. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Cross-reference, Romans 8 verse 18. Our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Life application. Life's darkest valleys are not permanent. Just as Job's story turned to restoration, our lives can also find healing through resilience, community support, and God's mercy. For example, someone who lost everything in a financial crisis may, over time, rebuild and even help others through the same hardship. The Book of Job reminds us, suffering is not always punishment. Friends may fail, but God remains faithful. Honest lament is part of faith. God's wisdom surpasses ours. Hope and restoration are possible. Real-life takeaway. Job's story shows us that pain is not the end of the journey. Even when we don't understand our struggles, God's purposes are greater than our present pain. If you're going through suffering today, remember Job's story. Your trial may be a test, but it can also be the beginning of your testimony. Take care. Like and subscribe this channel for more. Thank you for watching.